Jake Brandon here with CougarBoard, and tonight we are joined by Sam Dawe. Sam, how are you?
Always good, man. Always good to be with you, Jake.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Or I should say Coach Brandon.
Oh,
I should say Coach Brandon. That's disrespectful on my side.
Good. You're good. Sam, for those who maybe don't know, because you have a relatively little time here, you are a legacy guy, right? Your dad played here. You're a legacy guy. You've had cousins who've played here. But for those who maybe don't know, introduce yourself a little bit. Where'd you play high school ball? How'd you get to BYU? And what are you playing here?
Man, so I played at Spanish Fork High School all 4 years, homegrown. You know, that was our big thing, you know. Actually, Coach Brandon, Jake, was my coach over here for, I want to say, freshman through senior year.
I think I had you all 4 years.
All 4 years. You were started at O-line and then went to running backs and then OC, yeah. Senior year. Good times, man. We could talk about that for days, but we're not.
We were just laughing and crying off camera. There's some stories about that. Was good
times. But yeah, played football ever since I was a little kid. I remember I was playing soccer as a kid. My brother was like a big time soccer player, but I always got put at goalie, and then I got ejected. And when I was 7, I was too aggressive, just for trucking kids, and I was like, bruh. So my parents put me in football, and it got me here. So
some smart parents.
Yeah, for real. I appreciate that. But yeah, Spanish Fork all 4 years, all growing up. Then I went on a mission for my church to Singapore. That was crazy. COVID happened. And
while you were in Singapore, right?
While I was in Singapore, that's like the second recorded case was there, and yeah, it was nuts trying to get us out of the country. But then I was re-signed to Oregon for 9 months, and then I went back to Singapore my last 4 months. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. And then I ended up actually going to Idaho State, the Bengals up in Pocatello, for just a semester. And it lined up for me that we played BYU that week, and I got some game in and had enough film that the end of the semester I didn't tell my coaches or anything until I put together all the film and everything, and I was like, hey, I'm entering the transfer portal, and they, gave me the spiel, you're never gonna make it, you piece of crap. Just yelled at me, and I was just like, it's my decision, man. So I hit the transfer portal, and I had a plan to come to BYU, and it ended up working out.
Heavenly Father's got a plan.
He really does.
I really believe that.
100%, no doubt about that. Everything just lined up perfectly. My connections all lined up. Meeting with coaches all lined up, and coming here it's been perfect for me.
And Sam, you're on Built Bar scholarship.
Yes, sir.
Explain, because I've heard all kinds of rumors, man. I've heard that it pays for everything. It pays for everything, and then I've heard oh well, no, it only pays for in season this much, and then the rest of the season's different. Explain to us, how does Built Bar scholarship work?
So I didn't even know I was going to be on Built Bar when I transferred here. That was just a bonus.
Blessing, yeah.
I heard of it and stuff like that, but I didn't know because I'm this new transfer coming in. The roster's already overstacked and stuff like that. I think we had 130 guys for a 120-man roster going into spring ball. And I was like, well, fetch. I got to figure out my own NILs or, start working on the side or whatever, but I left a full ride behind in Idaho, but, just to come back and fulfill my dreams, Yeah. You got to live your dreams out. And, that was just icing on the cake. It really was. It was a big blessing. They just covered tuition. As far as I know, I don't know what other guys are getting. They cover my tuition, which is such a blessing.
Right.
That is huge. That's you don't have to worry about tuition. Books are only an extra $100.
Right.
You cover your rent. You're pretty much fed.
Yeah.
So it's gas and books. It's and dates.
Yeah, dates.
Yeah. Dates. That's important. And that's about it. That's all my finances pretty much. So
it takes. That's a good 80%, right, of all your total obligations.
Seriously.
To go there, and you were expecting to come and battle it out for a little bit and earn your way on and all those things. So.
Yeah, for sure. It it was just like news to me.
Yeah.
Seriously, like moving up and starting where I did on the team and ending up where I did, and now it's all over the place because everyone's back. But I don't know what's gonna happen with everything. But yeah, it definitely worked out good for me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so Sam, you grew up with a dad who played at BYU, right?
Yeah, he was only here for like a semester back in the 80s.
Okay.
Blew out his knee like at the first of workouts, and back then that was it.
Yeah.
Like that was it, you know.
Yeah, you're done. You're retired. Medically
Yeah,
retired.
so that was his story, but like growing up, like I was always like a BYU fan, you know. I think most of us from Utah are, and stuff like that. And then my family played here and it was big. But in high school, I didn't really get a lot of love from BYU. I had a lot of love from Utah State, from Idaho State, Arizona, Oregon State, Colorado, like different schools, but not a lot with BYU. And I think it was just because like my family played here, you know.
They thought you're coming.
So they thought like, oh, we got them on lockdown. And they did, eventually. Like, in my heart they did, you know, but I ended up chasing, you know, up down Idaho because that's where I had the money, you know, it's where I had guaranteed. But I realized, you know, if you're not living your dreams, then you're lying to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
You're just kind of going every day. I didn't like it. I didn't have a ton of solid friends. I had a little squad, but all of them were married or engaged, and so they were always gone.
Yeah.
And I just knew, like, this isn't for me, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know how it goes. You pray, and you, like, God's like, yeah, get out there. So here I am.
You know, in a lot of ways you look at it, it's like a good fit. You're like, oh, I've got a scholarship here. They ran pistol zone radar PO, which is what you ran in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they ran a lot of the same things, but then, like, at the end of the day, it can still not feel right. Like, a lot of things can be right about it, and it can still not be the right decision for you. So, I'm glad you're doing what you feel is right now, and you're following your dream. And
for sure.
We're all glad you're at BYU.
I appreciate that, man.
The whole Brandon family, we're all glad you're there.
We knew we'd make it someday.
We knew it would happen.
That's why all the coaches, they see me, they're like, we knew you'd make it. We just didn't want to say anything. Like, I'm like, all right, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's
We
awesome.
won't talk about coaches too much.